Friends, Brian here from Yes You Can Play Guitar, and we are doing a reading your comments video for Ayreon, the day that the world breaks down. You guys seem to like that reaction, and you know, I have a modestly sized YouTube channel. I think we're almost at 25,000 subscribers, but the volume of comments I get, although I do try, it's really hard to respond to everybody. So that's why I like doing these videos, because you know, I know what it's like when you like a channel and you make a comment and you're never acknowledged. Well, if you don't have viewers, subscribers, Patreons, your channel ain't going to be nothing. So I appreciate you guys, and I like doing these videos to give you guys a shout out and acknowledge you for taking the time for watching and commenting. It means a lot. So let's get into this. All right. Bill Schaefer, 465. For your information, Michael Romeo has done a couple of solos for Ayreon. One is Ayreon's Dawn of a Million Souls with Russell Allen on vocals. The other is on Star One's Fate of Man with Brittany Slade's of Unleash the Archers on vocals. Very cool. We've got a sub-conversation going on here. Awesome. Okay. Paul Chapman, 2569. I like Paul's comments on my videos. Also, just to note that I mentioned in the video, Michael Romeo from Symphony X is one of my favorite guitar players and has been for over 20 years, and he is a freaking godly guitar player. I actually have, although I have a huge collection of guitar magazines, I remember seeing Michael Romeo. He had the really crazy puffy hair. He was in like a Hometown Heroes thing and an old edition of Guitar for the Practicing Musician. I gotta dig that out. I have them all in totes. So anyway, Paul Chapman. Ayreon rarely perform live. You get a chance to watch Into the Electric Castle in the second half of the concert. And Other Tales, plenty of Simone Simmons, Floor. Thank you, man. Okay, cool. For more Ayreon, watch Live Universe, a sort of best of Ayreon. For more Simone, watch Epica, Simone duetting with Floor, Sancta Terra with full orchestra and choir. Cool. My good friend Robert Sheeler. The singers in order of appearance, James Labrie. So he mentions all the singers. Some of these people I'm not really familiar with. Of course, I knew James Labrie and Russell Allen right away. But some of these other ones, I'm not. I've heard of Camelot. I've heard of Blind Guardian. So I appreciate him posting that. Their song, Everybody Dies, is a live performance and a must-see. I'm going to check that out, Rob. Appreciate it. Deborah Foster, another great song by Ayreon is Everybody Dies. Excellent. Pekka, I don't know if you were the one that told me to F off because of my Patreon, but I was not happy with you. So if you can refer to my video last week of, if it was you, if not, I apologize. I forget the person's name, but I think it might have been you. I want you to go and watch my video last week I made about having a Patreon. If you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it, because I think you're a little misled on things. Okay? But I'm going to like your comment because I appreciate you watching and commenting. M.R. Nowak, 85. Enjoyed your reaction. Ayreon is was one of many musical projects by Dutch composer and musician Arjen Lucassen. Their albums are prog rock or operas, mostly written to an overarching backstory of how humans came to be on Earth. Arjen is highly respected in the European rock metal scene, and being asked to sing and play one of his projects is a huge honor. Given the large ensembles, they rarely play live. They will hold their third concert next month in the Netherlands. You should check out something live from the universe. Okay. I love Floor, of course, and Russell Allen. You should check out their duet from their band, Revamp. So I did a reaction to Revamp. I might have also done another one on Patreon. Sorry, I had to mention Patreon. God forbid I, want to make a little bit of money and help pay a few bills every month. So he posts some really interesting links here. Russell has also been involved with the project with Nightwish's second singer, Nat Olson, Allen and Olson. Okay, I have heard that in passing. Annette's voice has matured and improved since leaving Nightwish. Very interesting. I'd like to look into that. I appreciate it. Also, highly recommend another Ayreon project, Star One. I've heard of them as well. Michael Romeo. He's the man, dude, on guitar. I got to tell you guys, if you don't mind me saying, I'm a pretty good guitar player. I think I'm somewhat up there. But I'd love to sit down and have a guitar lesson with that guy. I actually tried to get an interview with Michael Romeo. Nothing against him. His manager was very polite, but I think they're kind of trying to tell me no in a polite way. He's not big on interviews, eh? So I talked to an acquaintance of mine, Levi Clay, who has a very successful guitar YouTube channel. And he's Michael Romeo's his favorite guitar player, and he's had a hard time getting him for an interview too. So interesting. VMAX Babe. Russell Allen is a great vocalist. I got to know him through the first two Star One albums. One of Ari and Lucason's other project. Russell Allen together with Damian Wilson is a vocal match made in heaven. They feature in most songs on Star One, Space Metals, Storm Victim. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Since hearing Allen, I dived into the Symphony X catalog. My favorite, of course, is the Divine Wings of Tragedy. I think that's just one of the classic all-time guitar albums, not just Symphony X albums. I think it's you know, if someone said to me, and I planned on doing a video of this, what are your top 10 favorite, most influential guitar albums? Symphony X, Divine Wings of Tragedy would be in there for sure. You've had similar Prog interests as I do. The first live show of Ayreon Universe was 2003. Okay, cool. If you love 80s prog rock and all its versatile form, do yourself a favor and check out Genius Ayreon's music. I will. Timo Arula. Ayreon is a musical project by Dutch singer. Okay. Ayreon's music is described as, he goes, my favorite space hippie. Progressive rock, progressive metal, power metal, sometimes combined. Okay. Okay. Singers. Okay. As for whatnot. So I want you to know, Timo, I really appreciated you taking the time to post this. And when people post longer posts, sometimes I don't read all of them, like reading out loud in these videos, but I do go back and I read them thoroughly. Okay. As for what next, best road to take through the Ayreon Universe is live, best of. Here's a link. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Alan Carter 41. Don't worry about stopping. Yeah. So he says for those. So you know, one of the things with a YouTube channel, guys, you can't make everyone happy, no matter how hard. Especially when you get into doing reaction videos, we don't make money off them. So sometimes it can get frustrating because you're doing almost like a hobby for free and putting tons of hours in it every week. That's why I like my Patreon. But you know, it's a reaction video. You're supposed to stop and give your reaction and your thoughts, but then people get mad. They're like, you stop it too much. You stopped it right before the guitar solo. What are you doing? So I'm trying to find a happy balance of the two. But often when people kind of get snitty about that, I'll say, if you just want to watch it interrupted, just watch the video of it, you know, like. So good point, Alan. I totally agree with you, and I really appreciate it. And he's telling me that Ayreon is a huge rabbit hole. If you love Michael Romeo, he's telling me Fate of Man bonus. It's about the Terminator. Cool. By Star One, featuring Michael Romeo and Brittany Slays. Lots of amazing guitarists. He is the man on guitar, my friend. Marcus Walkner. You might enjoy Ayreon Universe live show. Thank you. And he provides a link. If you go through it in order, the name of every new singer is shown in the video wall. One of the backing vocalists is Floor's sister, Irene. I didn't know that. Very cool. Thank you, Marcus. If you had a look at Floor's band before Nightwish, After Forever, you have seen Juiced before. He's a keyboard player for them too, and current producer of a lot of European metal bands, including Epica, Ayreon, Blind Guardian, and others. Cool. I've been asked countless times to do a reaction to Epica, which is in my plans. I actually had a guitar student for a number of years. He played in a Canadian band in that style called Sovereign Council, and they actually opened up for Epica at a concert. So I think Epica is something that we need to look into. Fabrizio Prina, this is an absolute masterpiece, and Ayreon is a musical genius. Okay, new subscriber here. Thank you so much. Nightwish Italian Division. Thank you so much, Fabrizio. Evergreen Dorney Mahoney 5453. I love these names. I saw Russell Allen live at the Trans-Siberian Orchestra this past November, and he was fabulous. That's a pretty cool gig to get. That'd be awesome playing in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. My good friend Tarkus, been looking forward to this one. I've watched this video many times and it never gets old. They don't perform live often because of logistical issues. And you know what? A lot of bands can't afford it now. It's too expensive. You know what? Like, look into, you know, how hard it is and how expensive it is to rent tour buses now. It's crazy. Pretty soon it'll just be Metallica as the only band performing live because they're the only ones that can afford it. I'd like to see you check out The Eye of Ra, which features Flora and her sister, Irene, as well as many other talents. Very cool, Tarkus. We will look into that. Normora, 58, 57. Arjen Lucanson, the man behind Ayreon and other projects, is the composer of this amazing music. He's mastered the forgotten art of writing concept albums, thus creating his own Ayreon universe. I wanted to say, I did a reaction video to After Forever, Floor's band, one of her previous bands, to Nightwish. And it was kind of like a long prog song, and I liked it. I dug it, but I didn't post it to YouTube because I didn't know how many. I don't want to say I didn't know how many views it would get, but it was just different. I did do one reaction I've posted to YouTube on After Forever though. They're good. They're definitely good. Concept albums. Now concept albums, well, that's just exactly it. They're not everyone's cup of tea. They're my cup of tea, but they're not everyone's cup of tea. I recommend the song Amazing Flight from the Electric Castle live show, The Black Hole, featuring Bruce Dickinson. Cool. Richard Hall, 6034. Hi from the UK. Well, hello right back at you, Richard. Top of the morning, my good chap. Okay. I've got a pain in me gulliver, mum. Ayreon is fantastic live. You won't regret checking them out live. Okay. Ayreon Universe Eye of Ra, again, tribute to the film Stargate. It's kind of weird. I was on Tubi. You guys ever check out Tubi? And I accidentally clicked on Stargate the other day, so it's kind of weird seeing this. I remember seeing that movie a long time ago, back in the 90s. I didn't get it, but I'm going to watch it again. Okay? Martin Klaus, 2203. If someone hasn't mentioned it yet or translated, the binary code spelled out Trust TH1, the character computer that Michael Mills portrays. If you want to see Michael Mills at the top of his game, watch the Ayreon song performed live, Everyone Dies. That seems like a popular one, guys. We'll have to look into that one. Okay, John Hitchens, 2265. I saw Saga in concert in the 80s. They were fantastic. Now, I mentioned them. They are a Canadian hard rock progressive band. I saw them live in 2002. Funny story about that. Me going to see that and my naivety, but just go check it out. Punch in Yes You Can Play Guitar, Saga reaction. Fantastic band, man. Amazing band. I'm sure they've influenced a lot of these newer bands in some way or shape or form. But great band. They're still going. Clive Matthews, 5296. Anthony Lucas are started. So he's mentioning some of the same things that people have mentioned. Thank you so much, Clive. Jude Dornish, 4946. Aaron really likes to make his influence explicit in a respectful way. Pink Beatles on a Purple Zeppelin did a whole era. Okay. Hulkavins. There are too many great songs by Ayreon to consider. One of the cuts that has flown a little bit under the radar is called Into the Black Hole. Okay. Bruce Dickinson. Okay. Very cool. Thank you so much. Majbrat. Okay. Such an amazing gathering of awesome talent. Maybe next Everyone Dies live performance. Very cool. Ayreon is very talented. He has been doing this type of thing for years. He first recorded with Floor when he was 16. Can you imagine the cluster of legal BS if they tried to do something like this in North America? Yeah. Good post. Jan JVG, Everyone Dies is a nice next step. Another of my favorites is Twisted Coil, are both live versions. Rob Law, 4554, nice job, dude. Nice job, dude. Enjoyed. Anything from the universe to start. Great mix of styles and designers. Ridiculous wealth of talent on stage. Cool, man. Just dive in recreationally and for content and freaking enjoy. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it. The Cyber Mantis, my good friend. Also a big Michael Romeo Symphony X fan. I've been into Symphony X since 1995. Wow. Okay, even before me. That's pretty awesome. Around the same time, I also discovered Anger. I remember Anger. They're another one of those bands that were really kind of you heard about at the time. I know I've heard them, but I've been hitting that too many times. Romeo has been my favorite guitar player for a long time. Yes. He is the best in this genre. The Trooch from DT is a wizard. Lots of top-tier players out there now. Before Symphony X, Iron Maiden was my favorite. And now I see the future belongs to Love Bites. Since you're a Canadian, did you ever get into Annihilator? Jeff Waters is a riff machine. So, story here. So, as a teenager and into my 20s, I grew up in the city of Ottawa. Okay, so Ottawa is the capital of Canada. It's where the Parliament buildings are. It's where Justin Trudeau hangs out when he's not on vacation most of the year. But it is also the home of Jeff Waters and Annihilator. So Jeff is a little bit older than I am, but I can tell you the story goes, I sucked on the guitar. I tried to teach myself for a number of years before I finally went to a really good guitar teacher who was really good friends with Jeff Waters. And I have other friends that have played in bands with Jeff Waters back then. I did try to get Jeff on for an interview on this channel, and it's just not a good time. At the time, I think his father passed. I think there's some other things going on. He's a fantastic guitar player, amazing guitar player. I would love to have Jeff on for an interview sometime. Cyber Madness, I don't know if you've been watching some of my recent videos. I go into it more on Patreon. Sorry guys, I had to mention Patreon there. We're going through a little weird time with YouTube, with the YouTube channel stuff. It's harder to get interviews lately for a lot of reasons, but I think my big reason is there's so many channels popping up now trying to get interviews with people. I'd like to get Jeff on for an interview. He doesn't live, then he moved out to Western Canada, and then he moved back to Ottawa for a long time, and then I think he lives in England now. So, but I know that he's been going through, he's had a lot of personal stuff going on, and I did contact him. I didn't hear back. I don't hold it against Jeff. As I said, he's got a lot going on, hopefully down the road. So if that helps. So I'm going to like your comment. We have someone else. And I'll just tell you here. Okay. Eklate. The other woman featured in this video is Simone Simons, a singer for Epica. Cool. Maybe you could do analysis of some of their material. Yep. We are going to be doing that. Again, guys, I'm kind of going through a weird period. These are, the reading your comments videos. I can take the time and get into more detail on things, but some might consider me a high-level guitar player. I've been a musician for many years. I've been a guitar instructor for many years. And I love doing reaction videos, and I appreciate you guys, and you guys seem to like my take on things. It's just a weird thing, because when you do reactions, I enjoy doing them. You don't make any money. I did a long video about it last week. That's why I'm always pushing Patreon, but then when I push Patreon, people have issues with that. So I'm kind of going through a weird time right now. But I appreciate you guys and all the support. So Drop Shot, 1967, talks about Star One, talks a little bit about Britney Slays and Michael Romeo, their project. Tony Martin, Roy Khan, and sing Lost Children of the Universe with a guitar solo by Steve Vai. Ross Jennings and Michael Mills, Binary Man. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Drop Shot. Kalanor 4130. Woohoo, a reactor who actually picked up the Giger vibe. Very much Giger vibe. I actually have a Dean Xenoside 7-string. It's a Rusty Cooley model. Rusty, I consider Rusty a friend. We've talked a lot. We did an interview about a year ago, but it's a 7-string model, and it's an amazing guitar. All Giger. Okay. It was the first that came to mind when I saw the images, but I don't think I've seen any reactor commented on. You mentioned Sega 2. That's unusual nowadays. Thanks for another great reaction. Thank you for the support. Make sure to check out the reading your comments video. Roy Clifford, 9674. Ayreon is the name of a rock opera project of Arian Anthony. Okay. He posts another link. Again, he's mentioning Lost Children of the Universe. Steve Vai doing the guitar solo. Star One. And cool one. Finally, I'll include Prescient featuring Michael Mills. Okay, the binary harmony guy you've just seen, who is amazing. Ross Jennings, simply for its prog metal weirdness. You know, when Michael Mills first appeared in the video, started doing his thing, you're kind of like going, what the hell is... But then when you see him doing the harmonies and stuff, you're just like, oh my god, this guy's insanely talented. Looking through the comments, I've seen Fate of Man mentioned quite often, and so many other great songs. You'll be set for months. Yeah, Ayreon has a great library of interesting music, but it seems not to be a bad song within it. Sure, there are songs I don't really like, but that doesn't make the song bad. It's a question of taste. Plenty of Frank Zappa music I don't like, but I sure recognize the brilliance of it. I have to agree with you on Frank Zappa, too. Like, his music is really out there, but there's some amazing stuff in it, too. At CNACT, this is a who's who of top Euro metal vocalists. And Ayreon's solo towards the end has one of the smoothest dismounts you've ever heard by anyone coming off their guitar solo. And yes, Dingwall basses are made in Canada. I mentioned that the bass player looked like he was playing a Dingwall bass. I have a friend of mine. He played regionally, but they were the most successful, like, kind of regional band in my area. And I know he was sponsored by Dingwall for a while. He had a really nice Dingwall bass. At Thorgrim, my good friend Thorgrim. If you're a Romeo fan, you should check out another project from Ayreon Lucassen. He has a recent record called Revel in Time, Star 1. Excellent with a link. Really appreciate Thorgrim. I hope you are doing well, my friend. I always love your comments. At Roland Deshane, the Michael Mills part is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It was pretty wild. As I said, at first I'm going like, what? And then all of a sudden, once it gets going, you're kind of like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. At Belden 2987, interesting. I was also a great fan of Yes, Genesis, Marillion, Renaissance, and that stuff. But I also really like Saga. I have 3 albums from them, I think. I also really love the cover from Images at Twilight. I love Saga. They're one of my favorite progressive hard rock bands. Some point, I'd like to do an interview with some members. I did meet some of them after a show I saw in 2002. There's a backstory to that. Check out my reaction to... It was probably On the Loose, I think, that I did. A live version of that. I know it's partially blocked, but see if you can check it out. Punch in Yes You Can Play Guitar Saga reaction. Should pop up. And they were really nice. I'd like to do an interview with them. I don't think they get enough credit that they should for influencing bands. Dream Theater, I was never that much into them, but I really love the Metropolis scenes from a memory because it had, for me, such a big Pink Floyd feeling, especially the songs The Spirit Carries On. I had that on VHS, their live performance. I have the DVD, I have the CD, and I have the DVD of that. My thing with Dream Theater is I love the musical brilliance of it. I think James LaBrie is an absolute incredible singer, but it took me a while to get used to his vocals because he had that really nice, sweet, happy sounding vocal over this kind of metal band, a progressive metal band, but a metal band. So that was kind of weird, but he's an amazing talent. And here's an interesting footnote. Being Canadian, I remember him being in a band called Winter Rose before Dream Theater, and I remember him being on Much Music, which was the Canadian equivalent to MTV, back in the 80s, and it was just nice to see him get recognized with the success of Dream Theater because I know he paid a lot of dues on the Canadian circuit. I used to listen to quite a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. I also became Richie Blackmore, Blackmore's Night. Yes, kind of medieval kind of stuff sounding, eh? And then somewhere in the late 90s, suddenly Nightwish and Within Temptation came up. Then Edenbridge, very underrated band, Epica, Xandria, Visions of Atlantis, and all that stuff. So in the end, I went from symphonic rock to symphonic metal. Some called it prog, whatever. Great post. You know, it's just the fact that people take the time to watch the video, first and foremost, and then they comment. It still blows me away. Basic guy, 5785. I, too, am somewhat of a basic guy. I've been told I'm mentally crazy, but I am a basic guy. Some suggestions from the Electric Castle, Amazing Flight, Isis and Osiris, Garden Emotions, or you can simply pick a random song from the concert. They're all great. Thank you. Starman67, love that we share musical interests. I'm more a Dream Theater fan than Symphony X, although I really do love Symphony X. I only have Paradise Lost, want more. Where you suggest I go next. Again, Divine Wings of Tragedy is just an absolutely incredible. I remember where I was the first time I heard it, and it blew me away. My good friend Trina Dawn. Trina, you are a wonderful person. You are a great supporter of the channel. You are not a freeloader. That was my ex. Okay, just want to make that clear. My good friend Trina Dawn. This is a great introduction to Ayreon by Ayreon. Chris, my good friend Chris, 6719. Ayreon is a prog rock metal opera project of Dutch musician Ayreon Anthony Lucassen. Okay. Exactly. You can tell I'm starting to lose my voice. Translate to TH1. TH for his band Toehider. One of the people that works with Ayreon is Sir Joost Vanden Plas, a musician and producer himself, keyboardist for After Forever. Okay, with Floor, so there's that connection. Produced the last 3 Epica albums, just to name a few. Does a lot of work on the live Ayreon shows too. Images and Words are what got me into Dream Theater too. Still my favorite of their albums. Names of vocalists. Really appreciate it, and with some more suggestions. Really appreciate it, Chris. I'm sorry I'm losing my voice. Believe it or not, I have a day job because YouTube does not pay my bills. Believe me. That's why I'm like, Patreon. So I have a long day of teaching guitar and music here in my lesson studio. So I have to save a bit of my voice. All right, we have a sub-conversation going on with Cheat Tor 1010. There's a great interview with Ayreon on the charismatic voice. The most interesting takeaway from that interview that I can remember is that Ayreon does not believe himself to be a talented musician. Yeah, right, he's amazing. He just feels that he understands sound. Okay, sound on track. Ayreon is tremendously talented. Okay, Trebnev, if you would like to see Michael Romeo solo, star 1, okay, and hold on to your hat. Absolutely, my good friend Trebnev. Also, same album, Lost Children of the Universe. Cool. P. Dutchy, 4924. In 2 weeks, I'll be attending Ayreon concert live. Can't wait. That is amazing. Why don't you post here how you enjoyed it, what you thought of it? Would appreciate that. Kim Fabricius de Ten. Okay, sorry. If you're such a big fan of Russell Allen, you should look into the duets of Russell and Flora have done. Sweet Curse, fan of the opera. Cool. You might be surprised. Some of us diehard fans with knowledge of their previous work hoped that Russell would step in when Marco left Nightwish. Okay. Does he play bass? Russell and Flora are exceptional together, and their chemistry are great. They go back a long time. I think they met through Arian Lucasen. Cool. Great post. Great reaction from you, and Kim, great post. Love it. You educated me there. I really appreciate it. Black for Penis. This is just a very fun one in every way. And Ayreon is such a good egg. If you contact Ayreon Anthony Lucasen, I bet he'd do an interview with you. He has done interviews with some reaction channels before. Okay, interesting. Sergio S. Block. Back in 85, both Saga and Asia were touring around the same time, and I only had enough money to see one of them. I saw Saga with Aldo Nova. Life is just a fantasy. Remember that? Dun-dun, dun, dun-dun. I saw Saga. Okay, so for some extra Canadian content, it was a great show. Saga was very underrated in North America, but they were huge in Europe and also Puerto Rico for some reason, and they could never figure out why. Never got the success they deserved on home soil. Okay, great post, Sergio. And I agree about Saga. Check out my reaction video to them. And make sure to watch the Reading Your Comments video coming this week. Marcus Franconium, Russell Allen, Floor Jansen, and she has a sister Irene. That's interesting to me. I'd like to see her singing. I've been working with Ayreon since the 90s, early 2000s. Singers like Fish from Marillion. So I like Marillion, but there's just something about them that... What song did I used to hear all the time? Was it Kaylee? There's just something about the vocals. They're good. There's just something about them that was just too... I don't know. But they were good, though. They were talented, but I never really got into them. So he names the same D. Schneider. D. Schneider singing on a prog rock album. That would be cool. Tis Van Leer, vocalist, flutist. Or is it flautist? Keyboard band of the band Focus. Okay, I remember Focus. Okay. Huh. Just a few who worked with Ayreon Lucasen. So I remember in the 70s, I can't remember his name, but the guitar player for Focus, what was his name? Was it Jans or... I forget his name. He was a shredding guitar player for the 70s, man. That was pretty wild watching him play. At Evil Volts, Ayreon albums usually are like metal operas. Very cool. Sop with Snoopy. Where do you guys come up with these names? These names are hilarious. I love it. Since you've mentioned we're big into Dream Theater than Symphony X, have you heard the German prog metal band Vanden Plas? No. I have not, unfortunately. Vanden Plas isn't as shreddy as either Dream Theater or Symphony X, but they can shred. Either check out the official video to Stone Rose's Edge or any of their official live videos. 2 from Prog Power 2010. Okay, Vanden Plas have been around for years. There's a video from 1986 where they sound like 1980s Europe, and another video from 1988. They didn't release their debut album until 1994, though, after hearing Dream Theater and then heading in a prog metal direction. Oh, very interesting. Really loved your post. Thank you. At Erwin Ames, 7642. Erwin, my man, Saga is great, but Ayreon is a true rabbit hole. Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you. My good friend Mars is foreign. Great post as always. Thank you. At JWS6181. Another project from Aria Star One, Faded Man. Greetings from the Netherlands. Greetings, my friend, from Canada. Paul Riddle. Queensrÿche is the first prog metal band and still the best classic prog band. But I also love DT. I guess you aren't familiar with most of these people. So I'm going to tell you, Paul Riddle, are you related to Matt, first and foremost? Unlike most people who love the Operation Mindcrime album, I always loved the Empire album. And going back, since we're talking about Queensrÿche, if we're going back in time many, many years ago, the guitar solo to Silent Lucidity was the first guitar solo that I actually could play note for note and make it sound like the song. So, love Queensrÿche, and I really, again, most Queensrÿche fans are going to say, oh, Operation Mindcrime! I love the Empire album more. That's just me. Okay? At 42 Earthling, though it is part of the album Transitus, I think you'll like this. Ayreon, Get Out Now, featuring Dee Schneider. Tommy Karavik and Joe Satriani. I gotta check out Dee Schneider singing on Ayreon. That is crazy. My good friend, I'm actually going to see him today, Chris Blackstock Music. I really enjoy a female rock metal singer much better. Great vid reaction, my friend. Thank you, Chris. Shoemaker. Always love Shoemaker's comments. Nice reaction, my friend. I'm not going to tell to like this or that, and you are for sure making up your own mind. Like that, but there's a giant rabbit hole here. The concerts by Ayreon are amazing. You might like to check something out. Keep digging and rock on. Thank you, sir. Evil Volts again. Well, also Simone Simon was in this video. She fronts Epica. Great friends with Flora. Cool. Peter Ang, 6912. Hi from Amsterdam, Netherlands. If you watch closely, you can say that Tommy Karavik sings with his hands in this video. Cool. Hello, my friend from the Netherlands, from Canada. Okay. Metal Viking. You should make a reaction video on this band. If I remember right, is a member from Symphony X here. One hell of a guitarist is it. I guess you've heard the band Racer X. Dude, I love Racer X. They're one of my... If I had to make a list of 10 albums that influenced me as a guitar player, Racer X Second Heat would be one of them. We're doing a lot of... I was doing some reactions to this fantastic Japanese band called Love Bites. And they kind of remind me of Racer X a little bit too. Love Paul Gilbert, big influence on my playing. But I also really like Bruce Bouillet. His playing was different. He had great chops, and his phrasing was different than Paul's. And I love their live Extreme Volume album. So love Racer X, my friend. I had Racer X, the Extreme Live. I remember I lent it to a guy. His name was Mark Gravel. And we were working the evening shift for this company we worked at back in like 97. I lent him the tape and never got it back, and that always kind of bothered me. And I think years later I reconnected with Mark. Mark was a great guy. I reconnected with him on Facebook. I said, hey, could I get that tape back? Come on, Mark. That's a Racer X tape, buddy. Reactions account 3955. Musical tastes are weird, as I'm a huge fan of Ayreon Nightwish, but never been to one of Dream Theater or Dragon Force. To me, Ayreon Nightwish are about what the song calls for, what the song needs, and No Ego and DT or DF are all about the virtuosity and showing off, which does not appeal to me. Different strokes for different folks, right? I am not a trained musician, though, so that may explain some of it. Here's the list of composers and singers in order of appearance. I really appreciate you taking the time to post that. Next, I would suggest reacting to the performances at Ayreon Universe concert, especially the following: Intergalactic Space Crusaders, River of Time, Merlin's Will, Valley of the Queens, Ride the Comet, Star of Sura, and the Druids Turn to Stone, Age of Shadows, and Everyone Dies. Very cool. I appreciate your post, man. I love when you guys educate me. Mr. Woe. I love the first Terminator movie. And then it got kind of weird, kind of hokey. I thought the second was kind of cheesy and hokey. It was very made commercially. It kind of just got stupid. Like Arnold, like, you know, I don't know, it just got really dumb. But I really liked the story and the concept of the first one. Very cool. Mentioning Star One. Tom Nagel, dude, you need to check out Epica. I shall do that. It's in the book. It's in the plans. Mr. J56, small Ayreon live list. Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you. My good friend Trina Dawn. Check out. She's going to check out Saga. I was a huge Rush fan in the 80s. Start with On the Loose or Wind 'Em Up. Great songs to start with Saga. My good friend Jason Marshall, Ayreon Everyone Does Live. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Eric Marond, 2244. I love Saga too. Excellent. At Rating Influences, Uriah Heep. Yes, now we're going back to good old Uriah Heep. Thomas Zara, why female fronted? Does she not rival Dickinson himself? And how great was Tommy from Camelot? Okay, so Thomas, first off, let's chill. Because she's female and she fronts a band. That's why I said female front. It wasn't a sexist thing. It wasn't a limiting thing. She's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Jim Gotland, who are you reacting to? All right, Trina Dawn. Stop all you. We've heard all this before, and if not, can go listen to ourselves. Trina rocks, man. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Remember, so I'll have this out in a few days this week, although you won't hear me saying that until now when you watch it. But this will be out this week. I really appreciate it, and take that second, click subscribe. Appreciate you guys commenting, suggestions, subscribing, supporting. Remember, guys, practice hard, practice smart, and we will see you soon.